Well, the Blues are done. Canucks advance. The Canucks are the last Canadian team left in the playoffs. And the reigning Stanley Cup champion St. Louis Blues go home. So here are my thoughts on the series. Jake Allen had a goals against average, I believe it was 1.89, if I'm not mistaken, in the playoffs total. Not just in the round against the Canucks, but in all the postseason. And he had, I believe his save percentage was .935. Markstrom's save percentage, I think it was .929. And his goals against average, I think, was 2.44, again, in the entire postseason. Jordan Binnington's numbers were not respectable. So I see a few things that led to the outcome that we ended up with. One, Jordan Binnington played game 1 and 2 against the Canucks. And he played last night, or he started last night anyway. He did not play well. I'm not saying every goal was his fault or every goal was a bad goal, but overall he did not play well in the postseason. Jake Allen did. Jacob Markstrom played very well. And I think that the Blues were never really able to establish long periods of time where they were dictating the style of play. The Blues are a much stronger team when they have sustained pressure in the offensive zone, which I know, who isn't, but that's really what their bread and butter was last year, was that they would get sustained pressure in the offensive zone. They would forecheck phenomenally, and they would cycle. Their cycle was just deadly and led to a good number of goals and many, many scoring chances. And against the Canucks, they just weren't really able to set up that way very often. Now, I'm not sure if that was completely a failure on the Blues' part or a success of game planning on Travis Green and the Canucks' part. Either way, they weren't able to, and I would have to say that the Blues never really looked all that good in this postseason. Binnington certainly was, I think, a liability. I hate to use that word, but I think it's true. He was a liability. Jake Allen was excellent when he was in. And I completely understand Craig Berube's decision to go with Binnington last night. But unfortunately, I think for the Blues, it worked out that it wasn't necessarily the right decision. Nevertheless, I do not want to suggest that the only reason the Canucks won is because Jordan Binnington wasn't good enough on the nights that he played, because that would not be fair. The Canucks had I think, a good game plan for the Blues. They executed it well, and they executed their game well. They were the better team. On paper, are they the better team? Probably not, although, injuries to the Blues certainly affected them. Not having Steen was a detriment to the Blues' ability to compete in the defensive zone, and not having Tarasenko is certainly a detriment to the Blues' ability to compete in the offensive zone. But the Canucks are much better than I thought that they were. Do I think the Canucks can off the Knights? No. That doesn't mean they won't, and I'll probably put up a preview video of that series at some point. But I will say I think the Blues played poorly for the most part, but I don't want to take anything away from the Canucks. I think the Canucks played extremely well. I think the Canucks are a much improved and a better team. I think they're a legitimate threat for the Knights, though I don't think they'll win. And I think if you're a Canucks fan looking at this, you've got to be pretty pleased, except for the fact that Jacob Markstrom is an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season. If the Canucks can't bring back Markstrom, then, who knows what they are, because that will depend on who is between the pipes next year. But if the Canucks are able to lock down Markstrom, then I think they have quite a bright future. As far as the Blues go, I do not think the Blues are on the decline. I think the Blues, definitely suffered from some injury situation. Do I think there will be a goaltending controversy next year? No. I think that they'll go into the season largely anticipating that it'll be like a 60-40, 65-35 kind of situation with Jake Allen playing the lesser amount. But Craig Berube is not one to put someone in just because they have a name or just because they did something well in a previous season. If Binnington does not play well next season, Allen will play more. And if Allen can play next year like he played in the postseason this year, then he may win back the starting reins with this team. But we'll see what happens. Thank you for watching. And if you're a Blues fan or Canucks fan, leave me some comments and let me know how you're feeling. Have a great day.